Hi everybody, in this video we're going to learn how to deploy Prometheus and Grafana using Helm in env0. So here's the code here, and what we're going to have to do to get this up and running is we're going to use an env0 configuration file. So I have one called env0.yaml and it's under my admin turned DevOps GitHub organization in the env0 K8s repository. So quickly, let's just go ahead and go through this code. Now, first things first, I'm going to use this AWS EKS command to pull down my kube config in my env0 environment. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring down Helm because Helm is not going to be installed on EKS by default. And then I'm going to run a few commands to get the Grafana Helm chart, which we can see right here, the Prometheus Helm chart. We're going to ensure that everything is up to date. And then we're going to create a service account using kubectl for Grafana. For Grafana to run with this Helm chart, it does need a service account. And then it's going to actually install everything for us. Now, the cool thing about this is instead of using a Helm install, what we're going to do is we're going to use a Helm template, and then we're going to take the template and push it into a Kubernetes manifest for both Prometheus and Grafana. So with that, let's go ahead and run this code. So I'm going to open up my project here, and what I'm going to do is, well, actually, first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at the project variables. Now, scrolling down here, remember how we're using the AWS EKS command to retrieve the kube config for the Kubernetes cluster. To do that, we need to pass in two parameters, the region and the cluster name itself. So now let's go to environments, and we'll click on create new environment. We'll use the VCS, we can pull the code from GitHub. We'll choose Kubernetes as the IAC type. We'll click next. We'll choose GitHub to pull down our code. All right, I'm going to choose the repository name here. The branch is main, and because we're not deploying a specific Kubernetes manifest, but instead we're using an env0 configuration file, we can leave the Kubernetes folder piece blank. So now let's go ahead and click next. We have our environment variables here. We'll click next again. We'll give this a name. We'll say Prom Grafana deployment. We'll click done, and we'll wait for our deployment to kick off here. All right, and if we look at this step right here, we can see that not only was the service account created, but the Helm template command worked, so it pushed the configuration into a Kubernetes manifest. And we can see a failure here. Now, I did want this failure to occur because I wanted to make sure that you knew if this was failing, this would occur. When deploying Prometheus, it is expecting to have a monitoring namespace. So this is what we're going to have to do here. Inside of the code, what we can do is we can run kubectl, create namespace monitoring, and we can also ensure that our service account is in the monitoring namespace as well. Got a typo here. Let me just put n there for namespace. We'll go ahead and we'll commit that up. We'll push that. We'll head back over to env0. And we can see the new deployment has started for us automatically. So we'll wait for that to complete here. And if we scroll down, we see that we're all good here. We're waiting for an approval. And if we take a look at this, this is creating all of our resources here for Prometheus and Grafana. We go ahead and click approve. All right, and we can now see that our resources were created. So if I go into deployments, for example, we can see Grafana and Prometheus.